The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet.
Good afternoon. You are tuned into Ability Matters, a program that covers matters to do with abilities, disabilities and everything in between. Ability Matters is one of the longest running disability-related programs in the whole wide world. Starting as Headway On Air in 2007, you can now listen to podcasts of previous Ability Matters programs on YouTube and Spotify. Just search for Ability Matters. Ability Matters is brought to you by My Home Living Care, an NDIS registered disability support organisation.
Thank you very much, Sean. That was our program sponsor introducing Ability Matters there. You're listening to Beck this afternoon. I'm here for your lunch hour. And with me I have Oscar from Savvy. How are you today, Oscar?
I'm very well, Beck. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming at such short notice. No, so what we're going to do, I think we'll start with the song that I thought was a little bit relevant considering the weather at the moment, and then we'll get into our interview. And the rest of the hour I've got some wonderful Aussie songs for you ranging through the different generations, but first we'll hit it off with Scorpions and Wind of Change. There we go. I thought that was a fitting way to stop the show or start the show there. Little bit of a taster for what's coming up. So I'll quickly run through the news, and we have a top of 25 degrees today with a minimum of 16, so I'm not sure when that was earlier this morning, but we're looking at a sunny day with an occasional high cloud. There's a bit of cloud around. Winds are becoming east to northeast between 15 to 20 kilometres in the middle of the day, then becoming light in the evening. We do have a 40% chance of rain with less than a millimetre. We do have also a moderate fire danger with a very high UV index. At the moment it's sitting around 23 degrees, although it feels more like 22. We're looking at a humidity of 51%. Our winds are tending north, 9 kilometres an hour, with wind gusts about 14 kilometres an hour. So we'll jump straight back into our interview with Oscar, and I'd just love to say thank you so much for coming along and having a chat with us today, Oscar. We do appreciate that. Oscar is from Savvy, and they do some great things over there in Fairy Meadow.
Yes. Thanks for having me on. It's obviously a beautiful day to come out here to the studio, and very nice to be a part of this show. Thank you.
Not a problem. So I suppose we'll jump first into our question to start everything off, Oscar, and I'll get you to tell us a little bit about Savvy and what they do.
So Savvy is a holistic solution for movement and therapy. So we have purpose-built labs and studios over in Fairy Meadow, and we have a recreational side and a clinical side. So with our clinical side, we will have neuro rehab, we will do clinical therapies, physio, exercise physiology, we'll have group classes, and then we'll also go out and facilitate movement classes and physio and EP services in aged care facilities.
Wow, you sound like you do a lot.
We do a lot, and we also go out into the community to people's homes. So we'll send physios and EPs to people's homes for services.
I have the classes there on site, and you also provide that one-on-one service where you go into the home. Yes. So
we do a lot, ranging also from the neuro side to aged care, as well as musculoskeletal services as well. So basically anything to do with anyone in terms of clinical services, we can deliver it. And then on the recreational side, we run recreational fitness classes as well. So there's a lot we offer, an absolute ton we offer. And we have great staff over at Savvy.
Awesome. That sounds really great. I'm interested to find out a little bit more about what you guys do. I suppose then a follow-up question to that, because I don't qualify for the NDIS. Do you need to be on the NDIS, or can anyone come along?
Anyone can. So no, you don't need to be. I mean, we are NDIS accredited. We're newly NDIS accredited, so you can we self-managed, plan-managed, NDIA managed, but it can be anyone. People fund through home care packages as well. We'll have group classes. We have clinical. So even in our recreational side, where we'll have cycle classes and reformer Pilates classes, we also then in the clinical side will have clinical Pilates. So it's a smaller group, more focused to make sure that everyone's comfortable and doing the right thing. And our trainer is 1 to 4, so it's a lot better.
Awesome. So definitely get looking at do you have a website?
We do. It's Savvy Community. So if it's just savvyco.com.au and the Savvy Community on Facebook.
Awesome. So check it out, people, if you really want to get involved with some rehabilitation or
different therapies,
just
well-being,
fitness, all different things. Oh, so I suppose that also goes into the clinical services you provide. Is there anything on top of what you've already mentioned?
Look, we do absolutely everything, and we have links to everyone. So even when people have different things that come up, we can provide. But like one of our, we'll have a walking group, for example, or we'll have a PD movers group. So when we've got people with different abilities and different levels of issues within their bodies, that we can facilitate that. We'll have diabetes classes coming up soon. So anything that is absolutely anything and everything with the body, we do. But we're very strong with neuro, with musculoskeletal. We will be in people's homes to make it. If travel's difficult, we can service in homes, and we'll go down. We have a lot of clients in Albion Park and North Corrimal, Fernhill. We have a lot of clients that will go service and run a group up in Bulli as well, just to make sure, because movement is medicine, and to making sure the body and the joints are lubricated to ease those pains and to make everyone improve or to reduce decline as we age, I think is one of the really important things that Savvy delivers.
Awesome, that sounds really great. So I'm going to get into some music now, if that's okay with you, Oscar.
I'd love to hear it.
I have a little bit of Australian Crawl, and we're going to hear... it's not the most common played song, but I like it. It's called Errol. Well, there we go. We had the Skyhooks, Living in the 70s, and before that we heard from Australian Crawl with Errol, one of my favourites. It's not the most often, and I think, for a 70s song, I like the Skyhooks. So I was wondering, Oscar, if you could tell us more about your aged care facilities and what Savvy does there.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we service 2 aged care facilities. One is Diggers at Corrimal, and the other is down in Berry. And we provide clinicians there for the services down in Berry and also at Diggers. But one thing we've started doing recently is introducing movement therapists. So you can think of movement therapists as personal trainers. So we're introducing movement therapists to the Diggers facility in Corrimal. And the reason for that is we have our clinicians, but also then we highlight pain management as well as a clinic for pain management, as well as my movement class. So we'll have our movement therapists run for the residents there at Diggers a movement class. And the reason is to really focus on fall prevention. We've highlighted with the data and research that residents that fall over, the injuries sustained from falling are quite detrimental and obviously a lot more severe as you get as you grow older and you get age. So if we can get everyone a bit stronger in their base, and so they're going to have less chance of falling over, that's going to go a long way to really support those residents in those facilities.
Cool. You caught me on one thing though. I'm interested to find out more. Movement therapist. That's got to be a new term.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think everything does go around terminology, and the vernacular that's been introduced over time is always evolving. But the movement therapist, I think, because it's not just personal training. And okay. I think you can't just have a staff or a staff member that is going to be a personal trainer, because then that'll turn off certain clients and certain social members. So it's not just about, okay, you need to go and lift heavy weights and do this. Sometimes it's not. See, another term for you now is an allied health assistant.
I know about them ones, because I know like the physio, the occupational therapist,
and then your exercise physiologist.
The dietitian.
And they'll prescribe kind of the exercise needed, and then an allied health assistant will be able to come out and help you go through your program. So it's almost, I guess, an easy way to think of it is your personal trainer and your allied health assistant are kind of delivering some stage like very similar things, just a slightly different version. And so that's when we kind of get to movement therapists a lot, because movement is medicine, and we really do need to focus on everyone moving more, but it's also moving in their way. So it's not everyone needs to be, we think of personal trainers though, they're on the bench press and they're lifting so much weight. That's not the answer for everyone. It needs to be it's not one size fits all. It needs to be quite personalised. And so if we can group people in classes together so that you have that social connection as well when you're moving, that's fantastic. Yeah. But if you're unable to, then you still have that connection with your movement therapist or your allied health assistant as a one-on-one, just making sure you get that movement to help you in your life.
Oh, no, that sounds really good. I think probably not even just age people, just generally people would love to probably get involved in that.
Everybody needs to be involved, yes.
Excellent. My next question for you relates around what recreational service that you provide there.
Yeah, so we provide over 50 classes a week. So we've evolved from years and years and years. I'm talking Savvy started 18 years ago. So Savvy's been around
a long time.
And as a president in the Illawarra for a long, long time. It used to be only outdoor down at the home base, which was kind of near Diggies down at North Wollongong there. And it's evolved to then have indoor classes and then specific studios and strength labs, and then everything's been moved up to be bigger and better and greater, but we still do have our outdoor classes, because that's the birth of Savvy and the crux of really what it was about. It was about getting people outside in the sunshine and moving on such beautiful days like today, and people are moving when it's not a beautiful day as well. And we do have a great cohort that they are very tough and they will train in the rain a lot.
Oh, awesome.
But we still have the ability to bring those classes inside. So we'll do outdoor classes that are, group workout classes. We'll have running classes. We'll have stretch sessions. We then inside we have a purpose-built cycle studio. So we have basically spin classes is the way people think about it. Then we have reformer Pilates beds. So we have a 10 reformer Pilates bed studio. And then we've got personal training sessions, like sections set up, and then we've got downstairs like a group strength lab that then in the morning and night, and then during the day is more of our clinical therapies class and individual for clinical therapy. So we do a lot.
Sounds like you do.
Yeah, we do a lot, and there's something. So the aim is not so people are going, okay, we're just going to run all week, or we're just going to do yoga. You have the chance to go do your clinical Pilates, you can then run, you can bring in a cycle class, a strength class. We even have a step class or aerobics. We brought that in on a Wednesday that's very fun and starting to become very popular. But yeah, we do a lot and cover a lot of bases at Savvy.
Cool. That sounds amazing. You sound like you do quite a lot there.
We're very busy.
Cater to a lot of different tastes.
Absolutely.
No, yeah, that sounds awesome. So what I'm thinking now is we may hear from a little message from some of our sponsors, and then I might come back with some little bit of easy beats. So I'll just play this and be back shortly with the easy beats. Okay, we had Ice House there with Hey Little Girl, and before that we heard from Easy Beats with She's So Fine. Just to remind everyone, I'm talking to Oscar from Savvy, and he's giving us some great information about what they do at Savvy. They are located at Fairy Meadow for anyone that's interested in going along to check out a little bit more of what they offer. My next question for you, Oscar, is Savvy Seniors. What is that? Talk about that a little bit more.
So when I spoke about our recreation services and how we have different classes, outdoor, and indoor and Pilates and those kind of things, we also have our Savvy Seniors. So our Savvy Seniors are 60 plus, and we have a great cohort of Savvy Seniors that come along and have workouts that are tailored to them, their bodies, their abilities. So like a Monday morning, we'll do a cardio class, but instead of sprints, we'll be going for a gentle run or a walk or whatever you're able to do. And it'll still be like our Savvy Seniors, don't get me wrong, are very, very fit. They're very, very fit. We have one who ran, an ultra marathon recently. So like they're very...
They come from a different era where the quit's the quit. They got it.
100% agree with you right there. But our Savvy Seniors, so we'll run 3 sessions a day for Savvy Seniors, so 15 across the week. And we'll get great numbers. So they'll do a strength session, or they might do a Pilates, a seniors Pilates, or a senior cycle in the cycle studio. And we'll have our trainers or our movement therapists will be, specifically ready for them and their cohort. But our Savvy Seniors, we've had a scavenger hunt for them 2 Thursdays ago, so they'd go out and have to find clues and then find out what the activity is. But yeah, our Savvy Seniors, and the idea is to get them moving and making sure, once again, that movement is medicine, making sure their joints are lubricated, and really also creating that social connection. I mean, to be honest, I think half of them come to the cardio on a Monday morning because they know they can finish at the kiosk and have a coffee together and socialise. So it's really that social connection is the underlying, I guess, reason with that movement of why they turn up. But we have a lot of our seniors who have had, recent life events, or maybe their loved ones passed away, and then they'll come along and it's a real community and they find great friends there, as well as something to do and feel parts of days with. But their social calendars are so full, so they make sure they put their classes in there, but it's also a way to socially connect with other like-minded seniors.
Oh, wow. It sounds like a good program, except I'm not a senior yet.
Something to keep in mind for when we age.
I might have to put a wig on and some glasses and how you going?
They have a great time, so yeah.
Sylvie's keen to go. And she's coming up next with her Smooth Connections program. But we've still got another 20-odd minutes, so we'll introduce her again as we get closer to the hour. And I've got one here also for you to tell us about your recent community event, the Savvy Survivor. What's that all about? So
Savvy Survivor is actually really interesting. It's an impactful community event that started when Savvy started 18 years ago, and it used to run winter and summer. So it's now in its 27th season, if you want to call it a season.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was designed to raise money for a cause within the community needed, and it's changes that we choose each year. So it started 18 years ago to raise money for Kids Wish, and there was $3,500 raised for Kids Wish at that time, and then the next year it was it had a different charity to support, and since then every year about $30,000 to $90,000 has been raised each year. So
wow, that's awesome.
So over the 18 years, we're over $700,000 raised for different charities.
Awesome.
And the way it's raised is actually really interesting. So it's one thing is raising, but it's creating the message as well. And usually it's one of our members will be part of a community or a charity that's in need of funds and also awareness. So historically it's been a week-long fitness event where members will sign up and participants will sign up and they'll have a workout morning, lunchtime and dinner basically for a week. So it's, you've got to survive the week of events. Yeah. So it's really grueling. This year we had a little bit of a spin to it. We held it over 3 days, and then as the members of the event are participating and getting through their sessions, they're also creating, they're baking cakes and raffles and selling, and businesses are getting involved, and so they're donating, and our donation pages go wild, and all that money is raised and then given to the charity at the end. So this year we teamed up with University of Wollongong's The Yerbry Lab, Motor Neuron Disease Research Fund.
Awesome.
Great work's been done there. So Yerbs he's passed 2 or 3 years ago, and he's from motor neuron disease, and he started the lab.
I think I know the gentleman that you're talking about. I used to work at the university, so really? I think I've seen something on a newsletter about him somewhere.
Yeah. So he created that, or started headline that lab, and then handpicked all his researchers and doctors and associates. So they're doing great work there, and then there's not enough funds. So one of our members, Graham Lancaster, who's a very, very kind-hearted lawyer. Those two probably don't go together often.
No, not often, no.
In town, who he supports absolutely everything from kids sports to every other charity ball. And so he was diagnosed with ALS, and so we approached him, and he said, "Yep, I'm happy to create awareness further and raise funds."
Amazing.
And then we had a big charity ball on the Saturday night, so it was great for businesses to come and support, and local businesses sponsored, people turned up, and it was a fantastic night. And then we raised $36,500 to go to the research fund, and also create a lot of awareness amongst in the Illawarra, and support Graham in his journey with MND.
That's awesome. That's excellent. Well done. I like that.
Yeah, that's great. It's an annual event now, and has been for 18 years. Annual event, and we choose a different charity each year, and we choose it reasonably close to the event, I guess, only because we don't know, in case something comes up, like Graham's diagnosis came up reasonably close to the event, and we had to pivot with what charity we're going to support. But it's just, usually tied to a member or someone has a connection, and it's making sure that we're raising for people in the Illawarra. We're not going to pick a charity that's elsewhere. We're making sure it's within our community.
Oh, awesome. So it all comes back. It all comes back to people in Illawarra to benefit from those wonderful funds.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So I'm going to get these songs in because you're really keen to hear the next one after this.
Exactly. We've got to get through to it.
Yeah. So I'm going to play you a little bit of Cold Chisel with Cheap Wine. After that, we're going to hear Men at Work with Down Under. So enjoy, everybody.
Once I smoked a down a man.
Okay, so that was Men at Work with Down Under, and before that we heard from Cold Chisel with Cheap Wine. Still here with Oscar from Savvy, and I'm going to ask you a bit of a personal question, Oscar, if that's okay. Just because we had a bit of a chat while the music was playing, and he had some interesting information about some of his past career that he has done. So I'd like to ask you a little bit about your career as a basketball player.
Yeah, as in terms of my previous works, that's probably the one that's the more interesting one out of the jobs I've had, I guess. For about 17 years, I think I was a professional basketball player. So
wow, that's a long time.
It is. It's a lifetime of sport before you then get into after sport careers. But yeah, I played in the National Basketball League, the NBL, for Adelaide originally for 4 years or 5 years. And then on to New Zealand. I moved over to New Zealand, played for the team there that still played in the Australian competition.
Oh, wow.
So we would just fly a lot, every week or every second week we were flying throughout the season. And then when I finished there, I came over and I chose Illawarra, and I stayed in Wollongong and played for the Hawks here for about 8 years, 7-8 years, I think it was.
Oh, wow. What position did you play?
I just roamed around and shot. I was a good shooter, and so I think I was, designated as a power forward, but there wasn't much power in it. It was just making sure I shot the ball, and, it was a lot of fun as a job. You get to run around and, lift weights and get massages for your living, and make sure that you're then ready on the weekends to perform. But no, it was a fantastic, enjoyable time. You get to see the world as you travel in the off season, and you play in tournaments in different countries across the world. There's a lot to it, and it's not as easy as everyone probably turns up and thinks.
Probably not.
You turn up once a week. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of stress, a lot of making sure your body's right and sleeping at the correct times to be able to perform. But there's also a good amount of enjoyment from it as well.
Oh, yeah, I bet you got to see some wonderful things and go to some wonderful events and things like that over the years that you did play as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I had tournaments in, obviously around Australia and New Zealand, but you have tournaments in China quite often. So China we went because basketball's huge in China. So we went to China numerous times, Argentina, Brazil, Spain. America, Germany, absolutely everywhere. Basketball's taking off pretty much all over the world, and everyone has tournaments throughout the year.
Awesome. So, just out of curiosity, we didn't actually talk about what you do at Savvy at the moment. So, what's your role?
My role. I'm a general manager at Savvy. So I've been there just over a year, and it's been an interesting job that's got a lot of different moving parts, and making sure that, because obviously as we have clinical therapies as well as in recreational services, and when we're outdoor services as well as community, and we've got lab work and everything. So there's a lot of moving parts and meshing it all together.
Bit like an octopus.
Pretty much that's how I feel most days, yes.
Well, I suppose we'll wrap up now, and I'd like to just say thank you again for coming along and speaking with us today, Oscar. I really do appreciate that.
Thanks for having me on, Beck. It's been fantastic. So the last thing I'll do, just in case people are interested in our services and are, it's easy to get to the website at savvyco, which is savvyco.com.au, or our phone number is 1300 942 895. So very interesting, very easy to find us. And if any questions, just let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so much.